Howdy guys, lovely to see you all again. Today we're going to be looking at the delightful solo from Addicted to Pain by Alter Bridge. Let's take a look. Alright guys, before we get too excited, we just need to discuss the tuning, which is drop C sharp, which goes C sharp, G sharp, another C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and a D sharp. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. We're going to start off with this phrase. Let's slow that down. We're going to do a bend from 17 to the first string. It's going up 3 semitones. You can use the 20th fret as a reference for that bend being in tune. At the end of that, doing a slight bend from 15 on the same string. And I go back to 13 of the first string and jump to 15 of the second. All together. At the end of that, I'm going to do hammer on, pull off, 13, 15, 13, then slide that back to 10. And then hit the 10 again when I get there. At the end of that, I'm doing a pull off from 13 to 10 on the second string and then rolling that to 10 of the third. So we've got, at the end of that. So what I've got here, it's basically the same thing twice. I'm doing a bend from 12 of the third string, pulling off to 10. It's just that it's slightly slower on the second time. At the end of that, I'm going to do just a cheeky pinch harmonic on 12th fret of that third string. So all together nice and slow. Then I work into this phrase. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far from the start, and then we'll add that last chunk. Then I go into this phrase. I've got a semitone bend from 9 of the third string. Then I'm going to slide from 10 to 12 on the fourth. Then I hit 10 of the third. At the end of that, I'm going to do a pull off from 12 to 10 on the fourth. At the end of that, I'm doing a grace note slide from 12 to 10 on the fifth. So barely acknowledging that 12 and then pulling off to the A there. That whole last phrase nice and slow. And that's all of the first section. Let's go right back to the start, play it again in a gentleman's pace, and then do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, let's have a look at the second section. This is this really sexy slidey bit. I'm going to start off with a slide from 9 to 10 on the third string. And then I'm going to do a semitone bend. It's a full tone bend. I lied. I'm going to do a bend from 13 to the second string. And it's going to have a slight delay from when I hit the note. So we're basically going, you're almost getting 3 notes out of that one kind of pick. I'm going to do exactly the same phrase again, but I'm going to do a backward slide into a forward slide. So this time I'm going to go 10, 9, 10. From the start. Then I'm going to do the 10, 9, 10 slide again, but this time I'm going to jump to a full tone bend from the first string from 13. All together. At the end of that, very similar to what we had before, but there's a slightly different end to it. So I'm going to go 10, 9, 10 again on the third string. This time after I've done my whole step bend from 13 to the second string. pulling off back to 10. Then I want to play 13 again on the second string. Okay, from that point, I'm just going to play 10, 12 on the third, and that's going to be the first half of this section. So all together. Okay, from that point, let's slow that down. Thinking, I guess in terms of being in standard tuning, D minor pentatonic, that distance between 10 and 13, that little gap there. So I'm going like this. What I've got at the start of that is a bend from 12 of the third string, then a flat pointer covering 10 of the first two strings. After that bend, playing the second into the first, then playing 13 of the second string, and then I'm just going to bounce off that cheeky Dorian note there from 12 of the second string. So there's two bends there. At the end of that, let's slow that phrase down. I'm bending 12 of the third string up and back, pulling off to 10, then playing 12 of the fourth. At the end of that, playing 10 again on the third, and then 12 of the fourth. So all together. Hopefully that's all making sense. We'll put it all together at the end and then add tabs as well, obviously. After that, I've got one open note, and I work into my delightful little hammer-on lick. So we've got, I'm playing an open note and then playing 10, 12, 10 as a hammer-on pull-off. Then another open note. Then I go from 7, 10, 7 as a hammer-on pull-off. Then another open note. So from that point, I'm going 5, 7, 5. Then from that point, I'm playing 2, 5, 2. So it's working in a pentatonic manner just across that G string. And I'm just doing those little hammer-ons exactly the same note value and speed the whole time. At the end of that, it's playing 2, 10, 5 open, all with slides. I'm obviously adding in that pull-off at the end. Hopefully that's all making sense. So that's all of the second section. I'm going to go right back to the start, play it at a gentleman's pace, and then do it again even slower with some tabs for you. Here we go. One more time with some tabs. All right, guys, let's have a look at the third section. It's going to start off with this little phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got this little hammer-on idea at the start. Playing 5 to 7 on the fourth, jumping to 5 of the third. Then I work into this. Now, you can do string skip picking if you want. I'm extra lazy and I do a pick and then I do the cheeky hybrid with my ring finger, but it is up to you. That first octave I had was playing 5 of the fifth and 7 of the third. And I move that across to 8 and 10, then 7 and 9. I want to go 10 and 12, 8, 10. And I had 13 and 15, and then 12 and 14. So you've got, at the end of that, I'm playing 15 of the fourth string, 18 of the second. So that's obviously an octave apart again. Now, I can't really hear on the recording if there's a legitimate lower octave to this, so I play the octave and then do a dead note before I hit that 17th fret on the second string. So I'm going octave, dead, and sexy 17 with a shitload of vibrato. Keep that one between us. All right, so here we go from the top. Okay, hopefully that's all making sense. Then I work into the shreddy phrase. Now this sounds absolutely nuts on the recording, but in my opinion, it's a relatively simple idea played quite quickly. So we'll go through it slowly, thinking in triplets. As you can see there, that phrase was pretty much the same thing twice. I just moved up diatonically through the scale. So I'm going to start off by playing 14, 15, 17 on the 4th string. Then I play 14 of the 3rd, 17 of the 4th, back to 14 of the 3rd. So we should have 6 notes now. From that point, I'm just going to descend down the scale. That was 17, 15, 14 on the 3rd and the 4th string. All together. Then from that point, I'm moving across 15, 17, 19. And I play 15 of the 3rd string, 19 of the 4th, back to 15 of the 3rd. And then that part descends in a much similar manner to what we just had. So I'm playing 19, 17, 15 on the 3rd and 4th string. All together. Then from that point, I start this kind of ascend up into the really, really high strings. Then I work into this. So let's slow that down. I'm playing 15, 17, 19 on the 4th and 3rd string. Then from that point, I'm playing 21, 19, 17 twice on the 3rd string. So we should have this of that little groove there. We've worked through sort of 3 bars of 12 triplets at a time. This is what we should have so far of that. Hopefully that's making sense at the end of that. This will work into the 4th section, so we're going to end it there, but I'm going to have 22, 20, 18 on the 2nd string twice, and the same on the 1st, 22, 20, 18 on the 1st string. And that is the end of the 1st section. Well, that's the end of the whole of the 3rd section, rather. Let's take it right back to the start, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section. This is very, very delicious. I'm warning you in advance. We're going to start off with this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm playing 22, 20, 18 on the 2nd string. And that's ending on 21 of the 3rd. And from that point, kind of working into something a little bit more pentatonic. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a pull off from 19 to 17 on the 3rd string, jumping to 19 of the 4th. Then I want to hit 17 twice with a cheeky hammer on. That was going 17, 19 of the 3rd. So all together from the start of the section. At the end of that. So what I've got here, I'm going to play that 17 again and then slide from 19 to 12 with a grace note. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I'm in the 1st position of the D minor pentatonic if we're in standard tuning, and we've got this phrase. So we go. Let's slow that down. I'm doing the slide backwards into 12, pulling off to 10, then playing 12 of the 4th string. At the end of that, from the 12 of the 4th, 12 of the 3rd, back to 12 of the 4th again. At the end of that, I'm doing that cheeky hammer on to the major 3rd, from 10 to 11 on the 3rd string. At the end of that, let's slow that down. It's a little bit faster with that initial pull off. I'm quickly jumping into 16th notes and then the rest of it's in 8th. So I'm going like this. Pulling off 12 to 10 on the 4th string, jumping to 12 of the 5th. At that point, hammering 10 to 12 on the 4th, and then jumping to 10 of the 3rd string. So it'll go like this. It's resolving to 12 of the 4th string. So from the slide, let's go right back to the start of the section, put it all together thus far, and then we'll add that cool end. So we've got... Okay, then I've got a leading note from 5 of the 3rd string, and then I work into this. So what I'm doing here is I'm sliding 7, 11, 7 on the 3rd string, pulling off to 5, and then I want to hit the string again and do a pull off from 7 to 5. So really slowly. Very similar idea, the next part, but I want to slide from 7 to 13. Now from that point, instead of doing another pull off from the 7 to 5, I'm going to jump from 7 of the 4th back down to 5 of the 3rd. So we're going to go all together. At the end of that, it's that first phrase again from 7 to 11, but without that extra pull off. So all together. At the end of that, I'm going to be playing 7, 10 on the 3rd string and then 8, 10 on the 2nd. I think it's all with half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's relatively slow. What I have there, I'm bending from 20 of the 2nd string, and then I'm playing 20 of the 2nd string just as a regular note, 17 of the 1st. I slide into 22, and then after he holds that note for a bit, there's a tone and a half bend, and that is the end of the solo. So that's all of the last section. Let's go right back to the start, put it together at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. What a totally badass solo. Hope you guys like that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you want to join up with the Patreon with all the cool kids, you get tabs to this lesson and anything else that I do. While I'm on the subject of self-promotion, would like to tell you about my 3 books. Ultimate Shred Machine is out now if you want to up your chops in shredding, sweeping, legato, and tapping. Rock Guitar Mode Mastery is my 2nd book. That deals with the 7 modes, how to use them in an improvised and composed context. And of course, Shred Guitar Improvisation, my most recent book, is out now. If you want to up your understanding of chord changes, sequences, all kind of cool things that you can do with your soloing. And if you were so inclined and you want all 3 books in one go, I do have all 3 books available in a delightful trilogy version. Of course, all of those books are available in video form if you are not much of a reader. Anyway, it's good to be back. Lovely to see you all again, and I'll catch you all for some more shreddy delights very soon. Mwah, toodles.